Then we have another issue that has nothing to do with the credit crisis. It's an old issue. It goes all the way back to 1974, when the ERISA Act was enacted by Congress. Before 1974, there were such things as 401ks, but they were retirement vehicles that were used largely by the very wealthy. And then in 1974, the ERISA Act was passed, and we pretty much as a nation moved from a defined benefit retirement system to a defined contribution retirement system. We all know what the difference is between those two. We've heard it bandied about. A defined benefit means you go to work for a corporation ABC, and you put in a certain amount, and they put in a certain amount towards your retirement, but your retirement is, we're going to pick a number out of air, your retirement is $2,000 a month. From the day you retire until the day you die. You never run out of money, in theory. You never run out of money. You can plan on that $2,000 until the day you die. Moving to a defined contribution means you put in X dollars a month or X dollars a paycheck, and that's matched by your employer. So let's say that you put in $500 a month in your retirement for 30 years. And now there's X thousands of dollars in there. Let's pick a number. Let's say you've got $150,000 in your retirement account. And you get X amount of that a month at the time you retire until it's gone. It's not until you die anymore. It's until the money's gone. Now, where is that money put when you get that taken out of your paycheck every month? Where does it go? Well, it goes into an investment vehicle, probably in the stock market. Oh, well, what happened to the stock market in the last 18 months? It's lost, what, 40%?
Yeah.
40% of the total value of the stock market evaporated in the last 18 months. Now, your defined contribution money was probably in there. Your $150,000, to use that number I just picked, was in there. Well, guess what? You don't have $150,000 in there anymore. It just shrank by 40%. Oh, and by the way, who was managing your $150,000? Somebody you don't know and you've never met. You don't even know their name.
I think it was Madoff.
I think it was Warren Buffett who said Wall Street is the only place where a guy drives up in a Rolls Royce to get investment advice from a guy who drives a Volkswagen Bug. So now you look at the system and you trusted these people to take care of your retirement. There's only X amount in there and it's shrinking. Now we have another problem. That ERISA Act of 1974, which changed the system, what it didn't provide for was educating anybody. Nobody in 1974 had a clue. Oh, we're going to a 401k plan. Wow, okay. Everybody, I remember back then, I'm old enough to remember, everybody was talking about their 401k. And every year they talked about how much they had in their 401k. Well, there's a little glitch written into the law of the 1974 Act, and that glitch is you put your money in tax deferred. That was the good news. The bad news is, when do you have to pull it out by law?
72.
I think when you turn 70 and
72.
72?
No, 70 unless they.
Oh,
change
70?
the rule.
Okay. Now, that was 1974. Guess what? There are about 12 million Americans who soon, in the next couple of years, have to start by law. They are required to withdraw that money. Why? The government wants their taxes You're going to give it to them now, or you're going to give it to them later. Well, guess what? It's been deferred since 1974. And guess who's waiting to get paid? The federal government. Now, where did that money get put? In the stock market. Now you want to pull it out. First of all, 40% of it just evaporated in the last 18 months. But in the next 3 years, you got 12 million baby boomers lined up who are now required by law to withdraw that money and spend it. And of course, pay the taxes on it. Now, when you have 12 million people pulling money out of the stock market, you now have more sellers than you have buyers. Now, what do we all know about supply and demand? When you have more sellers than you have buyers, what happens to the price? The price drops like a stone. So guess what we're in for? We've already lost 40% of what's in the stock market. Guess what we're in for in about the next 3 to 4 years? We're going to watch it happen again. Now, what's going to happen is the majority of the baby boomers are never going to retire. They're going to work until they fall over or they can't. All of this is going away. They don't quite explain it like this on the 6 o'clock news, do they?